We are working on the 2600 X. It's got a different graphics card in it now. This setup don't have resizable bar. So, or the shared memory access with the GPU where it can share into your memory. So we don't, this setup does not have that. The 2600X and B350 board do not support it. So we got that going on. I put a different graphics card in it. And I'm going to take, well, I don't have to take the card out. That is a 5700 XT. You're going to see the video on it before you see the video on this. So I've been messing with this thing and the fans won't work. So we didn't have RGB because our fans don't work. So I'm going to uninstall all that stuff today, and I'm going to install a fan kit that you have seen me use on the channel before, and I had good success with it. It's cheap on Amazon, so I bought another one. And that's what we're going to do to this build. So no expensive fans going in it. I have another big surprise for you on this build too. And you're going to see it on the end when we got it up and running. At the end of the video. And if I didn't say Sensation's back at you, well, Sensation's back. Not just at you, but back at the computer. So I have to take all these fans out of here, which means we need to rip the front of it off. All right, for your demonstration here, I'm going to do one intake fan on the front here, and I'm going to do one exhaust fan probably on the top. That way you can see it good. I'm going to get my screws out first for my fan. I'll just put them in my hand for now. There should be 4 of them. 4 for each fan, ladies and gentlemen. That's how that works. This fan's going to go in the front, and just like I explained to you before, these are standard fans. They're not, no trickery to them. They're not reverse blade or anything like that. So we got our fan right here. It's going to pull air in this way. So this is an intake fan for the computer. I'm going to want the open face to the outside of the case. So we could just get the wires out of the way. And this is kind of a fun one to fit in here. So if you have a old Corsair case like this, just take your time, people. Don't rush it. Take your time, you'll get it to sit in there, and then you can see where the screw holes line up. And I'm just going to take a screwdriver and get my first screw started here. And I'm going to do that by lining my fan up to where the hole lines up for the screw to go in. And on new fans, the screws always go in harder. Not all fans are that way. This one's not too bad, but they've gotten better since they went to the more rubbery enclosure for the fan. So it's not quite as hard to get the screws to start in them. Back in the day, you would have hard plastic fans, and let me tell you what, you would strip screws out putting them fans in. And I ain't just kidding either. There's probably guys watching this that know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of those old cheap LED fans, the plastic was so hard. I pushed so hard on them I broke the fan cages. That's a fact. So I'm not going to burn a ton of video doing this, but I did want to show you the install of an intake and an exhaust fan. So the next fan we're going to do is going to be an exhaust fan. We'll just reach over here and grab one. Grab another pack of our screws. We're going to do this one at the top, so I'm going to have to reposition the camera for it. And I got to take the zip tie off because doing the top ones, I got to be able to run the wires out where they come out the back of this thing. So I am going to work on that. I need that RGB thing to be right there. We haven't installed the hub yet. I two-phase taped that stuff in. And I'm going to show you something about the two-phase tape I use and why I use this particular tape. Probably because I got it at Ace Hardware and it was the cheapest tape I could find there for two-phase tape. But the other reason is when you peel it off, it doesn't leave any residual behind. And I really like that. It's kind of like a silicone base, if you know what that means. So we're on fan number 2. This fan is going to exhaust air. So we need it to pull heat out of the case. So if it's on the top, we need the fan to blow up this way. So we need it to pull the heat. Well, this should go without saying. And what I mean by that is it should be common sense. Hot air rises, right? So when we build heat in a case, it's going to rise. The top case fans are awesome for that because the heat already wants to go up there. Let's just help it out, right? If the heat already wants to go up there, let's just help it out. And we're going to do that by putting 2 of these 120 millimeters on the top, and we're going to set them just like this in the case. That way, they pull the heat up through the fan and exhaust it out the top of the case. So that's the idea here. For me to install this one, I'm going to have to cut you off, lift you up where you're not so vertically challenged, and we'll get this fan up there and start it. All right, so we got you up a little bit taller so you can see a little better here. I'm going to move my chair out of the way. I'm going to do a couple of things here. The first thing I'm going to do is grab these 2. That's our RGB and our fan plug, and I'm going to try to get them to go. We got to run the wires outside. So I'm going to go over the top here. There's a cutout towards the back of this thing, and I think I just found it. And I can feel the plug. But you kind of got to twist it to get it down through there, and there we go. The first one's out. So the same thing with the second one. I don't know that I want to. I do want to take it completely out because I don't know exactly where I'm going to run it yet to plug it in. I know how I had the other ones, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to do the same for these, right? So we got the wires ran where we want. You can run yours whatever way you want to. It just depends on how you're going to set your fan system up, how you want your fan system to be. I'm going to turn this one this way, and that's going to make it easier and better for my wires to run out. Now I'm just going to line it up with the holes. This one actually has rubber gaskets, and I don't care too much for that unless your fan hole, well, shoot. All right. So these top ones are fun because I can't get it to sit in place. Okay. And that slid just sitting here talking to you. I just want to get a couple of them started on it, okay? Because then we got something to what? Hold in place. And on these rubbers, you got to watch out because it'll pull it through there. And you also don't want to tighten these a ton for the same reason. Those washers won't fit where I need it. So this one probably, yeah, see that bolt there is not going to do us any good whatsoever. I'm going to try one of these old ones. It's way fatter. I really need washers for this where the rubbers are missing. I'm going to put 2 in it for now. And I'm going to find a washer system to put in there for that. To be able to hold those because I don't, the rubbers were missing from the case obviously when I bought it. So we either need the fat-headed fan screws that'll fit these fans, or we need, I'll just find washers. I'll go out my shop and find them if I have to. But I'll find washers to put in there. But that is exactly how you do your fans. So that's exactly how you do them. So we got the open face towards the bottom and the closed face at the top. So you can do them just like that. And I've got 2 more to install to finish this. And instead of suffering you through the live part of it, I think we're going to button this fan install up. Well, we don't want to do that. I'm going to button the fan install up off camera, and I'm going to cut you on when we go to installing the controller. because I want you to see what my thought is behind this. This comes with two-face tape, so we're just going to use what it's got, right? And then you can see all the different points you can plug in here. You can plug your fans into that controller too, so you don't have to plug them into the motherboard. This should have a wire that plugs into this. Now, the SATA cable plugs directly in the back of it, right there. So no wire to do that. I'll cut you off, get the rest of the fans in. Oh, my kid come in and shut a light out on me. There we go. So what we're gonna do is plug our fans into it. We got too many fans and not enough controllers on the motherboard. So the fans go in one side, the RGB goes in the other. I'm gonna go ahead and run our RGB. Actually, I'm gonna run the longer ones down to the bottom because they have more room to get there, right? Because the shorter ones need to go to the top because they have, you guessed it, less room to get there. Hopefully you can see what I'm working on here. I didn't even think about that. Oh, we got another one here. So I'm focusing on my RGB plugs right now to get them into the controller. These are there, and then we should have one more. Nope, that's actually the one. So that one goes to, these are fan. So we can run our fan on the other side and start plugging them in. And we got hubs formed right here, which is really nice because it allows you to run all your fan wires in the back. I do got a couple more up front, but it's such a pain to get there, and we don't have enough for all of them. So with that, you just kind of leave it like it is. So these two front wires right here, I'm gonna do differently. Let me see what you can see. Yeah, you can see my hand down there. These two front wires, let me get the bread tie off this. This is our fan wire. These need to be ran differently so they're not visible. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that yet, but somehow I need to put it right down in this area and zip tie it to something. So I'm gonna get a zip tie and I'm gonna work on that, and then I'm probably just gonna fast forward you guys through the rest of the install. All right, so we put all that nice RGB in there, right? Oh, let's just cover it up. Let's just put this side panel back on and cover it up now and finish it off. How about not? How about we go with another option? I took the liberty of making a second option for this case. There it is. $15.99 piece of Lexan. And that, we didn't have to butcher the case, number one. We didn't have to cut the side panel out, figure out how to mount the Lexan in there. No, just drill holes in the Lexan. All right. And then we'll get the Lexan put back on here, possibly. I don't know. This is not the easiest stuff to put on either. When I got the camera on and you're kind of in my way, that kind of, I don't know, it increases the difficulty level, maybe. Maybe look at it that way. I thought I had it started, but what do you think of that? Do you think that's a better option here than what we originally had? I need to come up with a better way of it putting this shit back on though. It's not, do I got this upside down? I don't believe I do. I believe I got it right. Oh. These bolts need to be longer. I can tell you that. But what I was looking for when I did this was thumb screws. And these are, in fact, they're thumb screws, right? Normally the camera's not in the way so I can reach stuff. But I want want you to be able to see it first and foremost. All right, we got that one started. I thought that screwed in. You know how we're going to do it? We're going to flip the case down on its side. That's the easiest way. I don't know why I'm sitting here fighting it. Most of you are probably laughing already. They're like, this fool. Just stick it down on its side like this. The Lexan does look really good on it. I got a few scratches on the Lexan when I cut it out. I didn't show that process. I used a cutoff saw to do the Lexan, and it worked fine. Are there better ways of doing it? Probably. If I had to do it again, would I use the cutoff saw? Definitely. It's not a terrible way of doing it. And this piece come out pretty nice in my opinion. But you can be the judge of that, because we'll do the final shot with this thing hooked up and working. That's the plan anyway. So we'll hook it up and fire it up for the final shot on this. I think that bottom one's stripped out already. I may have to redo some of that stuff. That one we'll just put a bigger bolt in. It's not that big of a deal, but there it is. She's heavy. So we got them modified. Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that. I'll bet a longer screw is what's needed there. I'll bet you if I had to, I'm gonna find one. I'm gonna find a longer screw to put in that before I button it up. But the next time you see it is gonna be at the very end of the video after I close the video out. I'm gonna do, what do they call it? An entourage. Is that the right word I'm looking for? You guys and gals tell me in the comment section. But I'll do an entourage of it at the end. That way you can see, well, you've seen it before, and I'll probably link the old video to it also in the end of it, because you've seen it when it was all closed off. Now we have full RGB installed, and we have put a view window in the case without destroying the case. So that's the important thing. We did not butcher the case to do this. I cut a separate piece of Lexan to put in the side panel. I'm gonna go find a screw for that right when I get done here. And tighten that back down, and it needs to be a thumb screw so you can remove it, because I don't want to drill another hole for it. I think that's stupid. I really like how it come out. I do. And when you see the entourage at the end and I see it, we're both gonna know why I like it, right? But I can already see what we got going on here, and I am not disappointed in what I'm seeing, guys and gals. I think it come out really good. And I think it's gonna look even better, and that fan's not backwards in there either, so there you go. I got the fans right. These are gonna exhaust, the rear fan's gonna exhaust, our front fan's gonna intake. But what do you think of what we did to the old Corsair case here? I can't complain. I'm not gonna lie. I cannot complain. Don't ask what I got going on over there in the background, because I'm not gonna tell you right now. But there is gonna be a video on it. Let's just say I'm messing with stuff that I shouldn't be. But there it is. That's our Ryzen 5 2600X with now an RX5700 XT graphics card. And yes, that card is better than the A580 that was in it. And we don't need resizable bar to take advantage of it, right? First time you've seen sensation in a video, probably. You've seen my hands and different body parts, but the first time you looked at me. We have finally finished our Ryzen 5 2600X with 24 gigs of RAM, 500 gig hard drive, 650 watt power supply, and newly acquired to me RX5700 XT graphics card. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I did a good job explaining how I install cooling fans and my idea behind it. I don't need a ton of air coming into this case. I really don't. A lot of people say you'll need a ton of air coming in. You need fresh air coming in, period. I mean, you got to have it. You can do it on 100. This case, I didn't design this case, Corsair did. So when Corsair designed this case, they knew that one 120 millimeter fan was sufficient up here, or they wouldn't have put it there. Okay, number one. So Corsair did this, not I. This side cover is no different than the side cover that was on it before, in respect that it's a solid cover blocking the case, so it's not going to pull air from the side anyway, and it never did, except for where the other one was vented, but none of that matters. The important thing is we can exhaust the crap out of the heat. So we have the 120 millimeter CPU cooler at the rear that's going to pull what the CPU cooler is going to pull air through, and then it's going to get sucked out the back of it. All of it's going to build heat, the motherboard, your power supply, your graphics card, and heat is naturally going to rise in the case. And then you've got 240 millimeters to 120 millimeters to pull that heat out of the top. And we're always going to be bringing cool air right in through the intake in the front. So I hope that if you're new to building PCs, you understood that airflow analogy a little bit better than I've done in my previous videos. But that's how I do it. You can experiment with different cases and how the airflow works better in them, and that's entirely up to you. And some of you may choose to use the AIO coolers at 240 or 360 AIO, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you can mount it in a case, this case could easily take a 240 at the top, but I'm an air-cooled guy for the most part, and you'll see that about me. My main build is a 360 millimeter liquid AIO cooler, and the only reason it is because it comes with it. If not, it would have a good air cooler on it. And good air coolers, I am a fan of the Hyper Evo 212s, and I've been using them since they come out many years ago, okay? So I have many years experience with these CPU coolers, and I'm a fan of them. Bling cells. I know I had comments, don't put RGB in nothing, da-da-da. Well, if I'm keeping it for myself, I don't care if it has RGB in it or not. I really don't, because I'm not a huge fan of it. However, if I'm going to list this thing on Marketplace, take pictures of it, list it, and put it for sale, you better have bling in it. Because if it don't bling and light up with RGB, your chances of selling it are going to decrease tremendously. That's a fact. That's my decrease today. Thumbs down. That's going to do it for the video, though. I hope you enjoy the entourages at the end that I'm going to start doing on these. Like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel.